Okay, so I have a problem. Hey, who did that? Okay, I got the lights working again. Anyway, as I was saying, I have a problem. I don't exactly like art. Well, I kind of do, but here's the problem. It's just the same old piece of... That's not the same old piece of art. Anyway, as I was saying, it's just the same old piece of art that just stays there. It's static. Nothing happens. Whenever I wake up, I can see it. And guess what? I never see it because it's there all the time. But with this, I guess it changes randomly? I don't know. Now, if you didn't catch on to what happened, this moved when the light was off. Hold on, let me show you again. Okay, I don't know how good that cut was, but here we go. Completely new picture. Oh, yeah, new picture. Now, you may have a few questions. How? Why? What? Who? Where? When? Well, I'll answer those questions after this sentence. Now, the main piece is obviously the artwork, but what you may not have noticed, because I didn't show you, is that there's a whole bunch of stuff at the back. Starting off at the simplest parts, there are some rollers, which this paper, which holds the artwork, can, well, roll onto. See? Roll one side up, and the other side unrolls. Those are controlled by two motors. One side drives this one, that's this motor, and the other motor drives this roller. Now these motors are powered by 6 AA batteries. I'm using rechargeable ones because the other ones ran out. To control these motors, I was originally trying to use some fancy stuff like transistors or MOSFETs or other stuff with silicon in them, but I don't understand those at all, and I gave up, and they're way too small, and they're too hard, and I don't have any more excuses, so I just went with servos. This servo controls the direction that these motors go. So if I do it this way, then this motor would spin. If I turn it this way, then this motor will spin. You know, if it's hooked up. This servo controls which motor is being powered. So right now, it's in the default state, so both motors are on, because both buttons are depressed because of that spring right there. If it turns, then only this button is being pressed, so only this motor turns. If it turns the other direction, then only this button is pressed, so only this motor is powered. These two servos are controlled by the Arduino. The wires that go to the buttons that these servos control, on the other hand, go through this massive rat's nest of wires, I think there's 12 there, and then they go somewhere onto the breadboard. The servo, when pressing down on those two buttons, switches the direction that current flows. So when pressing on the first 2 button stack, 5 volts go in one way, and ground goes in the other way. On the other 2 button stack, ground goes in one way, and 5 volts go in the other way, reversing the motors because they're DC. This Arduino right here is being powered by this battery. I was originally trying to use a 9-volt battery, which is why this hole is here, but apparently those have very little amperage, so I couldn't. Now that's all fine and dandy, but you may be wondering, because I said reversing the motors because they're DC. How do I keep track of where the paper is? Well, thanks to that question you probably never asked. I'm essentially using the ancient technology of the VHS tape. With VHS technology, the VHS machine was able to detect the end of a tape by a clear section, which was detected by a light bulb on a stick. Now, I don't have a light bulb on a stick, but I do have a light bulb precariously hanging out of a hole. That light bulb shines through the paper, and onto a tiny photoresistor right here. The Arduino just counts how many of these clear sections go past, and that's how it keeps track of the overall position of the picture. The way the Arduino detects when the room goes dark is using the same photoresistor. See right here how there's still a hole right there for the photoresistor to detect the light, even when this light bulb is off? Yeah, well, it just detects the ambient light and sees if that goes off. If it goes off, that stops detecting voltage, and that goes. And so I thought I was finished. But, well, if you look at this picture right here, through the magic of video editing, you'll see that the picture frame looked horrible. I'm not exactly the best with saw, and yeah, this isn't the best at making straight lines. Or at least I'm not the best at using it to make straight lines. So I added this fancy trim, which is right here. And, well, circa 20 minutes ago, that's the end of this project. The end.